That time once again on the Blockbuster show where we get to review a movie that's a sequel to a movie we haven't reviewed before. And in this case, we're looking at the sequel to some 90s cop buddy movie with Tom Selleck and a little kid. Don't worry, it doesn't feature either of them, and it basically doesn't even count as a sequel. It's one of those like shitty reboot, remake, sequel things. It's Cop and a Half 2, The New Recruit.
How did you know where to find me? Why do you look like you just rolled out of a low-budget buddy cop movie?
Do you normally take valuable evidence out for breakfast? You take the entrance? I've got your flank covered. Hard right!
Well done, kid.
Did you smile? We're totally partners.
We're not partners.
I'm probably gonna need a badge and a gun.
Cop and a Half, New Recruit. On DVD and digital HD August 1st.
So I actually don't know that much about the original Cop and a Half. All I know is that it's some buddy cop movie. Cop and, ooh, wacky premise. He befriends this little kid and they're going to go on this big cop buddy adventure, and he's teamed up with a little kid, and isn't that funny? God, it reminds me of that bit in Big Fat Liar where they were making this movie within a movie where it was Steve Urkel teaming up with a chicken in a buddy cop movie. Except they actually made it, and it was a real movie. It was called Cop and a Half. Oh, don't worry. This is a straight-to-DVD sequel starring none of the original people, and this might as well have just been its own movie. So in a way, it's kind of like playing in the same league as other crappy sequels we've reviewed on the Blockbuster show, like Tooth Fairy 2 and Jingle All the Way 2 and a bunch of crap like that. Not even in the same field as crappy sequels like George of the Jungle 2 and Daddy Day Camp. Not even in that league. In the more forgettable straight-to-video, oh yeah, that was a thing category. Veteran detective Mark Simmons is assigned a new partner, a spunky 12-year-old girl who has serious detective skills and savvy smarts. Together, they have to track down and stop the Badge Bandit, a serial prankster causing mischief. Very similarly, this is another one of those movies where you got a hardened cop teaming up with a little kid who talks like a mini adult, and just like in movies like Tooth Fairy 2, I still stand by what I say, that shit is creepy. Stop trying to make kids sassy and make them say stupid one-liners in movies. It's not funny, it's not cute, it's more annoying than anything. And the kid in this, the little girl, I'm sorry, almost all the times where they gave her like funny quips and, attempts to be funny and play off of the adult cop guy, is so annoying. Even the first scene when she comes across the crime scene that he's working, and she goes over to him in his car and just starts sassing him a bunch, and you just know that, oh, it's gonna start off like they're not gonna like each other, but then slowly they're gonna warm up to each other and, be the most unlikely of pals. Also, this main cop guy is not really taken that seriously. His fellow cops at one point just call him homeless looking because of the way he dresses, because he don't play by the rules. He don't dress like your typical cop or detective. No, he runs around with a ratty green wannabe army jacket.
What are you clowns doing here? Simmons, gotta call out a homeless guy kicking in the door? Do I look like a homeless guy?
So after that, the main little girl then comes across this drone which shoots lasers at her. And at first I'm like, oh, that's probably just a piece of tech that the bad guy is using. No, as you'll soon find out, drones are a big part of this movie. Drones essentially are the villain of the film. Yeah, you remember that Filthy Frank video from years ago where it was like, I hate drones or something like that, and the drones were sentient? That's actually the route they went with. They're killer drones in this movie that shoot lasers from the sky.
We have a nutcase out there who thinks that he is a comic book villain.
So with the reports of all these mysterious drones all throughout the town, it's up to our main cop guy to try and go on the hunt and try to get down to the bottom of this. And of course, since the little girl was one of the first people to come in contact with these things, that means that she has some intel, which means that they're going to have to work together on this, and that's where the wacky buddy shenanigans ensue. Stupid things that follow include, there's a part where he gets shot in the arm with these lasers and they numb them, and they have a comedic set piece where they're running all about trying to get to his car and escape, and he's running around with his flailing arms that are numb. He can't do anything with his arms. Several times where they do, I guess, the equivalent of comedy jump scares. Like, it's one of the early scenes in the movie where he's at the diner and he's looking at one of the drones that he was able to get his hands on that was destroyed, and the little girl pops up in the window of the diner right next to him, and he jumps and, oh, he spills his coffee and, oh, wacky. I should throw this in really quick. The little girl's also a hall monitor, so there's like that connection of like, he's a police officer who's not taken seriously at the station, and she's a hall monitor, and so you know, he looks down at her like, you know, you're not an authority figure like me. And eventually they slowly come to grips with each other as you know, a team. I said the same thing with Tooth Fairy 2, where it doesn't feel like this is a family movie where, like, you know, if it's actually a good family movie, like, I don't know, like Toy Story or something like that, where it's like the parents and the kids can like it, it doesn't feel like that. No, it's like Tooth Fairy 2 and other crappy straight-to-video movies like that, where it feels like it's made for really little kids that are going to watch it and just eat it up because it's bright, flashy colors. And the parents are going to go off and, I don't know, snort cocaine in the other room. I don't know. They're definitely not going to watch this piece of crap with their kids. I really don't know what it is, but something about this movie just feels a little bit creepy. I don't know. Maybe it's just the idea of having an adult and a kid team up in a movie is just off-putting to me. But there are these really weird points where you kind of have to sit back and be like, okay, so there's this grown man and this little girl, and they're driving around places and doing things together. I get that he's a cop, and I get that they need her because she has intel, because she was one of the first people to see the drone. But I don't know. These kind of movies are just off-putting to me. I don't even know what it is. Like, it's just, there is a very, very creepy subtext to this whole movie. Going back to the comedy, it is, again, like one of those terrible straight-to-video movies where if they can't think of something funny or witty to say, all they'll do is they'll have some kind of goofy thing happen and they'll put funny sound effects in it later. Like, this is a terrible straight to, I don't know, Disney Channel or Nickelodeon TV movie. Like, for example, there's this one scene where he's finally going to tell her mother that she's involved with police matter, and that was something that she was trying to hide from her mom all throughout the movie up until that point. And he gets out of the car. She still has her seatbelt on. She goes, "What?" She tries to get out of the car, but she still has her seatbelt on. Ah, darn it. And then she immediately tries to yank off the seatbelt. Like, it's jokes like that where it's like, isn't it funny that she didn't know she had her seatbelt on? What, was that kid's first time driving in a car with a seatbelt on? Another example of really lame comedy is there's a part where he's trying to keep something secret, walks out of frame, and the girl, she has her book bag on, and she's like, "Wait, but I thought you said," and then he grabs her by the book bag handle and yanks her off screen, and she does the comedic, "Woohoo!"
First, we need to check on something.
Wait, but you just said you were
Anyway, much later into the movie, the police station is finally taking this cop guy seriously. And they decide, okay, well, the kid has this plan about going undercover, so we're going to build our own drones and then fly them in to try and do some undercover work. One of my favorite things is they have a building drones montage, and they act like it was a couple of minutes of them putting them together. That feels like that's something that probably would have taken a while for them to actually do. I mean, unless these people are well-trained and well-versed in building drones, that montage wouldn't have been just a couple of hours. It probably would have been a couple of weeks. The other thing that sucks about this movie is the production. I mean, a lot of the shots are very standard, just bland cinematography of typical wide-angle shots of people standing in front of the camera, or the occasional reverse shot of people talking for dialogue scenes. Effects in this, because, I mean, the drones and the laser effects, that's one thing. I mean, they look like something from a YouTube video from when the movie came out, but there's an explosion effect where they do the cliche slow-mo run away from the explosion and then the in the background. Honestly, that looked even worse than some kind of crappy effect you'd see in a movie from a Walmart bargain bin in 2012. It honestly looked really bad. The one thing that kind of makes this movie just a little bit worth it to see, because I was not expecting this to be the ending of this film, but the movie ends. The big climax of the movie is a giant UFO-shaped drone shooting down lasers at people, and it's up to our heroes to stop it. I was not expecting this movie to end with mothership drone attacking city, but sure enough, that's how the movie ends. The movie ends with them texting each other, and it shows that he now has a new car, and he also shaved his beard, so now he's taking more pride in his appearance. So that's character growth. He's now, you know, he's no longer looking like a homeless person, but now he's more cleaned up. And he's also drinking healthier, because then he takes a drink of a green health drink and sends her a picture of a really crappy wannabe like Snapchat picture of him with green shit all over his teeth from the drink, and the caption is "my cute face." Oh god. Really isn't much to say about this movie. It's just kind of the typical crappy straight-to-video movie I was expecting it to be, with an unexpectedly, amazingly stupid ending with the UFO drone mothership thing. Was not expecting that. The rest of the movie, it's your standard straight-to-video film. I've been saying this all throughout the review, but it does feel like it's on par with something like, I don't know, Tooth Fairy 2, Thunderstruck, a bunch of those kind of movies that just scream straight-to-video, and it feels like nobody involved really cared about making it. They're just like, we need work. Maybe somebody will remember that this was supposed to be a sequel. The attitude that you get from this movie is just nobody really cared. A lot of mugging from the actors. A lot of the one-liners, especially the ones from the kid, are really annoying. It's just not that memorable of a movie either. Aside from the amazingly stupid ending, there's really not much I could say about this movie. Like, I feel like I watched this movie an hour ago, and yet, aside from like those few key things I mentioned, there's not much about it that's really memorable or stuck out that much. So I feel like even for a straight-to-video movie aimed at families, I feel like kids aren't going to get much out of it. So those are my thoughts on Cop and a Half 2, The New Recruit. Look forward to 2 more episodes of the Blockbuster show this month. The next movie we're going to be looking at is a Disney remake, before they eventually became an annoying thing that we have to put up with every year. We're going to be looking at Flubber, starring Robin Williams. And I remember vaguely watching a little bit of it like a long time ago when I was really young on ABC. But I haven't seen it in full. All I remember was them advertising the scene with the Flubber dancing, set to KC and the Sunshine Band. And I love KC and the Sunshine Band, but I guarantee you it's going to be one of those things where that is like one scene in the movie, and it was definitely something that they were going to try and use in all the marketing campaigns. So that's just my guess. We'll see if I'm right on that. We'll see until then. I guess we'll just have to wait and see until then. But anyway, until then, guys, I'm Adam Sykes of The Blockbuster Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Anything exciting happened in your world today?
Nah, just an average day.
Right.